Hello everyone, we're at it again. We're out here and we just got out to Wyoming, just west of Cheyenne. Found us a little campsite here and planning to spend a couple weeks out here. Took 3 days to get here from Florida, but we finally made it and ready to start this journey. First night has been already, yeah, quite interesting. And I got Grizz here.
You have someone new to introduce you to.
This is Grizz. He's our
Grizzly,
now 4-month-old pup, and this is his first little camping trip. And we also got Roscoe. Roscoe is right here.
He doesn't like storms.
Yes, and that's the thing. We just got set up, had our dinner, and storm rolled in. Hopefully I got a good time lapse of it rolling in, but it was quite windy and rainy. But we're in the camper, in the trailer, and trying to lay low while the rest of it moves through. But it's been a fun one so far. But come along as we take a journey. We're gonna head out around the Grand Teton area, Yellowstone a little bit, and then probably over to Idaho. Probably 2 weeks total before we start heading back home. So come along for the journey. Good morning. Just finished making some breakfast. We survived our night last night. Quite windy still, but the rain stopped. Yeah, we set up in this behind some rocks here to block some of the wind and that kind of stuff. But yeah, it was breezy last night, and sun is in full effect right now. Temperature is like perfect. You can see shorts and just the sweatshirt. Sweatshirt will probably come off in just a little bit, but yeah, we're gonna have some breakfast here. Enjoy it for a little bit. Pack it up. Got the solar charging a little bit. Get a little bit of charge going on the batteries, and head on down the trail. We'll catch you in a little bit.
Put the pickup into drive, chase the dawn, burn the light, let's go. Take the change from our savings jar, grab the Gibson, ditch the phone, let's roll. Maybe where we're going there are no exit signs. Even if the road is all we know, I'll be home to you, home to you. I'll be home to you, home to you. Watch the world fade out of view, darling, all I wanna see is you. Anywhere you wanna go, feels like home whenever I'm with you. Maybe where we're going, all we'll need are these big dreams. And even though tomorrow is unknown, I'll be home to you, home to you. I'll be home to you, home to you. Hold I'll be home to you, home to you.
Hey everyone, day 2. Yesterday was quite eventful. We left Medicine Bow National Forest, where we camped the first night after the big long haul out from Florida. But yeah, we got on a trail through the Flat Tops buttes between Rawlins and Grand Teton, and it was over 100 miles of out in the middle of nowhere, basically, and it took quite a bit longer than expected, or longer than I had expected. And then about 3/4 of the way through it, we found out that one of the battery packs that I have, battery generators, the EcoFlow, wasn't charging, and we really needed that to get everything back up to full charge and everything. So traced it down, and underneath the hood there was a fuse. Not the fuse itself didn't burn out, but the holder burned and melted. Good thing it didn't catch fire or anything like that, but fuse was good inside the socket, but the socket all the way around was melted all the way through. So after we got off of that trail, we had to go into Rawlins and find another fuse holder, fuse block, I guess we call it, and wired that in this morning. But we got all the solar panels out, got 3 solar panels out, charging everything back up. Trailer was quite low, and the Blue Eddy and the EcoFlow that I have inside the Jeep were also really low. So we're basically just here at camp today, letting everything get back up to full charge, enjoying a down day after 3 long days of 12-hour days of traveling straight through on interstates and that kind of stuff, and then another kind of difficult day on the trail yesterday. So
it's nice to have some time to relax. We found this amazing site by the river. What did you say this river's called?
This is actually the Green River. Yeah, beautiful site. We're like 38 miles as the crow flies from Grand Teton. So that's how close we are. We're gonna hit some trails tomorrow before we head over into or around the outside of Grand Teton, and maybe drive through a little bit, try to spot some moose somewhere, either in the evening or early morning. And
the weather's been perfect. It's been, yesterday was about probably high 70s, 80 in the sun at midday, and evenings have been chilly. We've been able to keep the screens on the doors of our Escapade trailer, but the doors cracked open, and used our comforter. It's been amazing. This morning we woke up, it was nice and cool. Jason woke me up to a little Yellowstone cattle drive that was going on just feet from our trailer with the cowboys and the dog and the whole bit. It was pretty amazing.
Yeah, that's pretty wild. There a lot of cattle they were driving, and there must have been six or seven cowboys, and they all had dogs, and they drove them within sight of our campsite here, and we could just watch how they were working and that kind of stuff. That's pretty cool.
It was a true Wyoming scene.
Yellowstone moment.
Yeah,
I was trying to see if Rick was out there on one of the horses, but
I said it's about time we buy some binoculars.
Yeah, that's gonna be a very quick purchase, is some binoculars.
Yeah, we saw some yesterday on the trail. It was long, but there were beautiful parts of it. The landscape is very different. I'm having a hard time putting words to what I've experienced in Wyoming so far. But what was the name of that antelope we saw?
Yeah, pronghorn antelope. We saw quite a bit of those coming across those flat top buttes, that longer trail. Kind of look out in the middle of nowhere. The trail was nice and stuff. It was just really, really long. Of the kind of the same. So
we're hoping to have a much higher count on this trip of wildlife that we don't get to see coming from Florida. So we've got the antelope on there. We're keeping our fingers crossed for definitely a moose. That would be on my wish list, bucket list for sure. I'd be happy with seeing a bear from a distance, but maybe as we move towards Grand Teton, Idaho area.
Yep, I'm sure we'll see some more wildlife for sure. But that's kind of the update. Just chillaxing today, and we'll hit it hard in the morning. We had a good breakfast, some bacon, eggs, and what's for lunch, huh?
Bacon and tomato sandwiches. I always multitask. So we're gonna, and then we're gonna have some steak nachos for dinner with some margaritas by the river.
Yes.
So it's been much needed. The pups have done amazing. They did so good yesterday in the car, and I think today's been good for them as well. Just wandering through and being able to roam. So much needed.
I'll give you a quick walk around with some of the solar panels I got plugged in and what camp looks like. A little disorganized, but we'll show you what we got out there. So here, hope the wind noise isn't too bad, but here we have one of the Escapade solar panels charging the Blue Eddy EB70, I think it is, inside the Jeep, and that's running one of our fridge inside the Jeep. Then I also have an EcoFlow panel, and that is charging my EcoFlow River Pro with the extension battery. And you can see we actually got the annex room on the trailer. That's only the second time we've used it, but it was nice last night. There were some bugs, not necessarily mosquitoes, but just a lot of flying bugs around last night, so that kind of helped sitting by the river inside of that for a little bit. Today we haven't, with the wind, the bugs have been pretty much non-existent. I don't know if I've shown you guys these before. Rotopack holders, company called Sea Sucker, and it's suction cups, and they have this little mount for a Rotopack, so it just suctions right to the glass. You don't have any clamps to your roof or anything like that. And every day I just check it. You just give it a couple pumps if you notice the orange band sticking out a little bit. But shoot, this is the second trip out west, so doing 75-80 miles an hour on the interstate for days, coming out here, never a problem. Never had a problem on the trail with them either. They stay stuck pretty good on there. This is the other Escapade light leaf. Sorry, the brand is light leaf. They make them for Escapade though. But the second panel, this is the one that's typically on the back hatch of the Topo 2, and that is charging the main 100 amp hour lithium batteries inside of the trailer itself. This is the Jolka, the dual ensuite, I think they call it. So one side you can, Amy has her potty, but you can also use it for the changing room outside of the shower, which, you know, if can get wet and stuff like that when you're trying to change. But the shower's on one side and changing room on the other. So I don't know if I've shown you this recently, but that's the EcoFlow River Pro that I was talking about that's being charged right now, and the Blue Eddy is right in front of that, more towards the front of the Jeep. I got it strapped down to the top of the drawer system that I built. And this is also our secondary fridge, the one outside of our trailer that we originally had when we were tent camping. But it slides out here, and here is the drawer that we used to have our cook stove in. Now we just keep miscellaneous stuff in there. Our little TV trays and that kind of stuff for our trailer if we need to hunker down for a storm and want to eat inside the trailer there. And these are all our other goodies that we have in the other drawers there. So that's kind of the back of the Jeep. We still carry a buddy heater for that ensuite for when we're taking a shower, just to so it's not so cold in there. Give a little bit of warmth.
So tonight we are going to have some steak taco, actually steak nachos. So I have pre-cut the steak and kind of marinated it in taco seasoning, and I'm just going to season it in the cast iron. Then I'll put the chips in the bowl and kind of combine it, so we can come back as the dinner progresses. So we've got the chips in the bowl. I'm going to scoop a little bit of the steak on top. Sprinkle it around on there. And then I have some fresh avocado and some cilantro that I cut up with a little bit of green onion. And then we have a choice of a little bit of salsa for color and taste. And I like a little bit of guacamole, even though we already have avocado. Some Cholula and some cheese to top it off. So very easy but yummy Riverside meal. So tell me how you like it.
A+, very good. Good flavor. I like that steak.
Good.
That marinade.
Good.
I got a fire in me, you're gonna set to burn. We got a world to see, and all the time to learn. Let's set out on our road. We'll see how far we can go.
I got a fire in me, you're gonna set to burn. We got a world to see, now it's our turn. Oh, let's set out on our road. We'll see how far we can go.
So we had a nice little lunch spot here on the lake. Had some brats. Let the dogs get out and run around and have their lunch too. And I'll show you the lake real quick. We're at about 9,100 feet elevation. So now that we're done with lunch, we got to make that little climb out of here. Hey guys, end of day 3. Found camp on the northeast side of the Grand Teton, just outside of the park border, and it's actually a designated site. It's site 8, but it's all dispersed camping, and it's beautiful right here on a nice little waterfront. Got the river rolling by. It'd be nice to hear that tonight to go sleep to. Temperature is beautiful right now. It's like 71 degrees, and so had a good day on the trail. Found a nice little lake to have our lunch by, and it was a good trail. Got to see the Tetons off in the distance on a couple spots. Got the drone up in the air. Hope you enjoyed that. And we're gonna have dinner here in a little bit. Amy's gonna take a little shower. It was kind of dusty out there on the trail today, and that's one thing about our campsite is it's a little dusty, but it's can't beat it. It's on the river. So that's gonna be our camp setup. Getting a little bit of shade by the tree right behind it, and I'll show you a little bit more of the river here. Cave Falls, the southern side of Yellowstone Park. It is the biggest waterfall in Yellowstone, being that it is the widest waterfall. Not in height, but in width. Good morning. I guess it's time to catch everybody up here. It's been a couple days since we told you what's going on or whereabouts. Going back, I guess it's back where we had pulled into that campsite that was like full of mosquitoes. Beautiful. It's on the river, nice wide river, the Fall River, and we were going to continue on from there. But as soon as I finished that little clip, Amy got really dizzy. Where she couldn't even stand up. She couldn't even talk. Her right side started getting really numb, she said, and felt like she was going to faint. So we got her into the Jeep, got her set down, got her reclined in the seat a little bit, waited it out for a little bit, but she still wasn't feeling good. She couldn't stand up, couldn't anything. Her world was spinning. And so we actually set up the camper, opened it up and ventilated it a little bit because it was already getting a little hot inside there, and to let her lay down. So she was able to rest a little bit. Me and the pups hung out, played down by the river. The mosquitoes actually, when the sun was at its brightest, midday, there was no mosquitoes, or very few. And the wind picked up, so that had a lot to do with it too. So we ended up staying there the night. When it got towards evening, late afternoon, mosquitoes out in full force. And I'll show you a little bit of what it looked like once we got inside of our camper. We knew that it might happen, so we cooked dinner really early and basically hung out in the camper because Amy didn't want to move. She still wasn't feeling good. I watched a movie and just hung out for the evening. So that was 2 nights ago. Yesterday morning we made our way down that same trail, just about a mile down the road, and came across beautiful Sheep Falls. Really, really cool falls. Like a horseshoe-shaped fall, and it had been a great place to camp, but we weren't moving from where we were the way Amy was feeling. So we just checked that out, hiked around it a little bit, took some pictures, and then continued on down the road back out of there, and we headed down to Cave Falls, which is just inside the the southwestern corner of Yellowstone. Cave Falls, really, really cool falls. I believe it's the biggest falls in Yellowstone. Not necessarily the highest, the drop, but they're the widest, and I guess the largest volume of water comes over those falls. So those were really cool. We checked those out, and then we started making our way northwest again, and we came across this campsite here, which is in Montana. We're in Montana now, and going to be working over into Idaho, but we found this reservoir that's pretty spectacular. It was really windy last night. We had set up camp, had the awning out, had our privacy enclosure out and shower out, and we had to put all that back in because the wind was howling and was really flexing on the our privacy tent on the other side of our trailer. So we put all that away. Still had a good evening, still had a great meal. Amy called it chicken cheesesteak subs. Some chicken, some cheese, some peppers and onions. They were really, really good. And just took it slow for the evening. Got a great morning out here. The wind has died down. We're gonna head out onto the trail and make it more towards, I guess, into the eastern side of Idaho. So check us out on the trail, and we'll catch back up with you. One of our stops today was Bannack Ghost Town. We're going to go through some of the buildings and check them out and learn a little about the history of this gold mining town.
Bannack, Montana is one of the most iconic ghost towns in the United States, located in the southwestern part of the state. Established in 1862 during the Montana Gold Rush, it was Montana's first major gold discovery and played a critical role in the early development of the state. Bannack is now preserved as a state park and stands as a testament to the boom and bust cycle of mining towns in the American West. Bannack was founded in July 1862 after John White and his party discovered gold along Grasshopper Creek. Word of the gold discovery spread quickly, and within months the town swelled to over 3,000 people. It was named after the local Bannack Native American tribe. The town soon became a bustling mining camp filled with miners, merchants, gamblers, and adventurers looking to strike it rich. Bannack's significance was such that it was designated the first territorial capital of Montana in 1864, a position it held briefly before the capital was moved to Virginia City, another gold boom town. The town grew quickly with the construction of homes, businesses, hotels, and saloons. One of its most notable buildings is the Hotel Meade, which was built in 1875 and later converted into a courthouse when Bannack became the seat of Beaverhead County. The first families to arrive in Bannack knew a great deal of hardship. They had crossed the Great Plains and survived dust storms, thunderstorms, bad water, and a lack of water, dangerous river crossings, the threat of starvation, and Indian attacks, only to arrive in Bannack without a decent place to live. Many arrived quite late in the year and found no place to live except for the wagon that brought them. If a family was fortunate enough to find a cabin, it was usually small, uncomfortable, and expensive. Those families that had the necessary skills often built their own cabins. The early years of Bannack were marked by lawlessness and violence. It was a rough and tumble town where vigilante justice often replaced formal law enforcement. One of the most infamous figures from Bannack's history is Henry Plummer, who was elected sheriff in 1863. Plummer, however, was suspected of being the leader of a gang of road agents known as the Innocents, who were responsible for robbing and murdering gold miners. In January 1864, Plummer and several of his associates were captured and hanged by the Montana Vigilantes, a group of miners who took it upon themselves to restore order in the region. The vigilante actions in Bannack became legendary, adding to the town's notoriety. Like many mining towns, Bannack's prosperity was short-lived. The easy-to-reach placer gold deposits were soon depleted, and by the late 1860s, many residents began to leave for other mining camps, particularly after Virginia City and Helena became the more prominent gold hubs. Bannack experienced brief periods of renewed activity in the late 19th and early 20th century as new mining technologies were introduced, but the population continued to dwindle over time. By the late 1950s, Bannack was mostly deserted with only a few residents remaining. In 1954, the state of Montana designated Bannack as a state park, preserving it as a historical site. Today, Bannack Ghost Town is one of the best preserved examples of a 19th century mining town in the U.S., with more than 60 structures still standing, many of which can be explored by visitors. The town hosts an annual Bannack Days celebration, where visitors can experience reenactments, gold panning, and other activities reminiscent of the town's heyday. Bannack's well-preserved state, fascinating history, and eerie atmosphere have made it a popular destination for tourists, history buffs, and ghost town enthusiasts. It stands as a window into Montana's rugged frontier past, where fortunes were made and lost, and the rule of law was sometimes a matter of life and death. Bannack is not a dead ghost town, but a living classroom. For future generations to understand how far and from where we have come, we must recall our past, both the good and the bad. Bannack was one of the coolest experiences. We spent almost 3 hours going in and out of the buildings and reading through the history and the lives of the people who lived there. We then headed back into Idaho and up a mountain to our next campsite. This proved to be the most spectacular gem of a location. It was nice to get there fairly early and to be able to set up, enjoy a drink and some downtime before making dinner. This location was known as Meadow Lake Campground. We were able to grab a spot that faced the enormous granite mountain with pristine, clear blue lake at its base.